All right, Nick. Welcome to People of Utah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited, man. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do with your life right now?
So I grew up in Brazil. I lived there until I was about like 16, and then I moved to Texas, and then been in Utah ever since, basically.
So, how many years in Utah?
So like about seven or
Okay,
so,
cool.
and then I went to Florida on my mission for a little while too, and then yeah, so moved around a bit the last like 10 years or so, but mostly grew up in Brazil. Right now, I'm still a student at BYU. It's like my 20th year. I've been here for way too long. And I'm working with company Salt Lake, like video production company. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
That's awesome. Okay, so you grew up in Brazil. Why did you guys move to America?
So all my family went to BYU. So my dad went to BYU, and then I'm the youngest of four, and it kind of just got to my turn. We like kind of moved up here gradually. So my oldest sister, and then the second, and then the third, and then me, and then my parents actually just moved out here like 2 years ago or
Awesome.
so. So
Permanently. That's awesome, dude. Okay. So, you're the youngest of four, you said?
yeah, correct.
Okay, play about your family.
Yeah, so mom and dad grew up in Rio, and yeah, they had us four. So I'm the youngest. There's three girls, like in
Okay.
front of me. Uh, so yeah, her name's the oldest one, Catherine, Haiza, and then Crystal. And yeah, they're awesome. We're all super close. They all live in Saratoga Springs. My parents are there too.
Right on.
Haiza, the middle one, she actually is in Minnesota now,
Okay.
where her husband's a doctor there. So she's the only one that's not here, but everyone else is in Saratoga. So yeah, it's nice. They're close. I get to visit them at times. So
That's sweet. So, did
yeah.
all of you grow up in Brazil and kind of one by one came up to America? Or?
Basically,
Okay.
yeah. So my dad came up here. He didn't do his bachelor's here, but he did his master's at BYU. And then one of my sisters was born where he was here, and then they ended up moving back, and then the kids started coming one at a time, and then my parents came last, just this last year or 2 years ago or so. So
That's awesome. Okay. So, was English, did you know English growing up because your dad had already been up here and stuff, or no?
kind of, yeah. So I mostly learned like at school. I went to like a bilingual immersion school type thing. So I learned English and Portuguese, like every subject in both languages. And then yeah, and then I watched a lot of TV and stuff.
Yeah,
It's just like the media is just like in Brazil, like there's good stuff nationally, but most of the things people watch down there are just from here, so
Right on.
kind of pick up.
That's
But
cool, man. Okay.
yeah,
So you've been in Utah 7 years. You didn't grow up here.
yeah.
What is your favorite thing about Utah and your least favorite thing?
That's a good question. My favorite thing has to be just how beautiful it is. It's just yeah, it's just stunning, and just like going along with that, like the outdoor scene, just like things to like it's you get every single season, and you get to do every single activity like to its extreme, like hiking, skiing and stuff. I've barely been skiing my whole life, but I'm like the times I went, I've loved it.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to know that it's an option to do.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm with you.
So yeah, like all the outdoorsy stuff and the scenery is definitely my favorite. And then my least favorite, probably just like how bubbly it is. It just feels like it's kind of a cliche, basic answer, but I just think like a lot of people here just don't have much of like a world perspective a little bit outside of Utah, just because like it's such a specific culture. So, but yeah,
That's what you'd
that's
say.
just like something that I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. But like, obviously, everyone's like, people here are great.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just a factor.
I'm with you, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. You mentioned like, the climate and all that stuff. Because when I picture Brazil, having never been, I picture like the rainforest, and I picture like the movie Rio with the birds, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
picture that. Do they have like similar terrain that we have here? Do they have like mountains that are cold with snow and that kind of thing? Or is it all kind of jungle?
No. Yeah. So it's mostly like we don't get all the seasons. Our seasons are mostly just like hot as can be, or like kind of cold and rainy.
Okay.
And those are like the two. Obviously, I didn't like like the Amazon forest takes up a good amount of Brazil, but I grew up in São Paulo, so that's like the biggest city in South America. So you'd imagine like the New York
Right. Okay.
like South America, you know. So it's like a lot of buildings, pollution, rude people, all that good stuff.
So where you're from is way more urban than up here in
Totally.
Utah, right?
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why I'm like, I also like working in Salt Lake just because it feels a little bit more like an actual city
Yeah.
rather than like, you know, like Utah County and like the rest of the areas around here are very like spread out like horizontally
Yeah.
when like Salt Lake has like some vertical, you know, like as far as like big buildings.
You
stuff
like the
that.
concrete jungle?
I like it, dude. It's not. It feels more like real life. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I'm just
okay.
like, there's stuff happening. There's like homeless people yelling at me. It's great. So yeah.
Well, especially if you're into movies and all that stuff. Yeah, that's the kind of environment you want to enjoy. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no interesting movies about like a place like Utah. I feel like, you know what I mean? It
Not
has
yet.
to be. Yeah, it's true. Maybe I'll make one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but but yeah, I mean, there obviously like there's cool like great things about Utah, but I do like that aspect of like fast pace. You know, like lots of people, lots of like diversity, and like not that I'm like, you know, being so I'm so PC. I love diversity. It's good. But you know, just because like different perspectives and like you get to meet like cool people that are like so much, you know, like not like you at all, and it's interesting for me at least.
100%. No, same, dude. I like big cities too. I love traveling. It's like it's possible I like big cities, but yeah, meeting people all the time is way fun to me.
It's great.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like I met you for the first time 5 minutes ago. It's like
There you go.
it's good vibes. You know what I mean?
Now we're best friends.
It's good. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know your favorite thing. I know your least favorite thing. Tell me about the best place you've eaten food in Utah.
That's a good question. Should I come up with a unique answer? I mean,
What is your favorite? I don't know you, bro.
yeah, that's very. Honestly, I like Brazilian food, so I'll say Tucanos.
Tucanos,
It's like pretty close, and it just like reminds me of like, you know, home and stuff. And
Would you say it's pretty authentic?
yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, it's kind of my beef with it is that like it depends on the day. Like some days it's like they're not even trying at all, and then some days it's like amazing.
Interesting.
So that's my only thing. Like when it's good, it's great, but when it's not, it's like yeah, this doesn't remind me of home. This just makes me sad. But
That's good to know, dude. I've actually never been, which is crazy.
Really?
Everyone tells me about it, and I have good friends that work there. I've just never been. So.
yeah, do you have any like food allergies or anything like that?
No.
prevent you. Or?
No, dude.
Okay.
I actually love trying new places too, so
There you
I
go.
gotta go.
Dude, you should. It's just a little pricey, but it's good.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So Brazilian food,
Yes, sir.
Tucanos is good enough for you.
Yeah, it's good. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not too picky. You know, like they're trying their best. So
Yeah, that's valid. So I wonder, with the church culture, obviously in Utah, and with the church being really big in Brazil,
Yeah.
and tons of kids from Utah going on their missions to Brazil,
Yeah.
and speaking Portuguese, do you get to have a lot of interactions with people that, I don't know, might know Portuguese more than you'd expect, and people who know Brazil more than you expect?
Yeah, no, pretty often, honestly, more than absolutely anywhere else, like in the U.S. probably, right?
Do you think, is that like annoying to you, or do you like it? What do you think?
No, I love it. It's great. Like one of my best friends, like he served in Brazil, so like we don't necessarily like speaking Portuguese together, especially because like at this point I speak way more English than Portuguese. Like even with my family, like me and my siblings, we speak English because my like brothers-in-law, they're American, so you know it kind of just makes sense, and we don't want to like leave them out. So I just speak English to my siblings, even though like we did not grow up speaking English. But then with my parents, I still speak Portuguese. So it's great when I meet someone that like, you know, they have a connection with Brazil, and yeah, they know the language, they know the culture, they get excited. It's like, oh, I get to practice. I'm like, dude, you know, like it's awesome to get to know their perspective of my culture as well, even though I've been removed from it for like 10 years now, so
Right.
a little bit, but still, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess that's true, because you did leave when you were 16. It's like moving to a new high school. It's a big deal, even just moving to like a new town in the same state. For you to like leave the country and stuff, do you have like a lot of, I don't know, what was that like? Did you obviously had to leave behind a lot of friends. Did you have an okay time making friends, moving to Texas and going to high school and all that?
yeah, I mean, the first little bit was honestly really hard, just because I knew the language, but there's a difference between like, you know, like knowing in theory and like being able to take like English tests and stuff like that, and actually being like around the language like 24/7. And that's the only way you can communicate, you know, and that's, you gotta like just dive in like completely in order to be able to like keep up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an adjustment for sure. Like it was like that. The language aspect was difficult. The making friends aspect was a little bit difficult. I think like the biggest thing that I didn't even factor into that much was like the culture shock, because like Americans are very cold. Like not saying that, you know,
Oh,
in a
100%.
bad way,
I
but
know what
it's
you
like,
mean.
yeah, but like Latino culture, like Brazilian culture, it's like people are very warm. You meet someone, you know, like you kiss them on the face and stuff, and you know, you hug people that you don't even know, and you're like so friendly all the time. And here it's like if you were to do that, they would think you're a little creepy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But like in Brazil, it's normal to like be super warm and stuff like that. So I'm like, I had to, not that I was creepy and I had to let that go. At least I don't think so. But I kind of had to, you know, like maybe adjust myself in the sense that like, oh, okay, yeah, I gotta like keep my distance a little bit and like slowly
Interesting.
kind of, you know, get to know people and yeah,
That's
I feel
very
like here there's more like steps to like making friends and meeting people. a little
Yeah,
bit.
and that's a good point. You know, I think in my experience with visiting other countries and stuff, I think a lot of times people have their guard down more, I'd say, than we do here. And people
Yeah.
are way more, you could just meet someone, they'd be down to like chat with you or whatever. You get, I don't know, people are way more approachable, I'd say, than
Yeah.
they are here in my experience too. So,
Yep,
That's
I think
interesting.
so. Yeah.
and did you still have a good high school experience though? You think
Yeah.
it was tough?
No, it was good. Like another factor as well. I guess I'll backtrack a second. But when I first moved here, I ended up going to when I was living in Texas. I ended up going to like a Catholic high school just because of my visa situation. I had to go to a private school
Mhm.
because Texas, due to like immigration laws over there with like the border and stuff, they're a little bit like kind of specific about it. Like you're supposed to pay tuition, but you're not supposed to like the school doesn't require students to like provide all like certain documentations because they want illegals to still go to school. So it's just like kind of messy. Ended up I had to go to a private school, and the best option was a Catholic school. So there's also that religion aspect that I was like completely outside of that I had to adapt to.
Dang, dude, it's a lot for a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Language, friends, family, religion. You're just like everything new on a 16-year-old. That's intense, dude.
No, definitely. It was a huge adjustment, and it was like I said, it was kind of hard at the beginning, but by the end of the year, you know, I made friends with like a lot of people there. I considered like staying even another year, even though I was supposed to move to Utah, kind of. But I considered it.
Very good.
My sister didn't really want me there anymore, so it was fine. But just because you know, like she was young, just married, and then I was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like kind of a
Like, get out of here.
awkward situation. So I'm like, yeah, I should probably move anyway. But it was a good time. Like, you know, like I think like the coolest thing about the experience was like figuring out how adaptable I can be, even though, you know, like I didn't think I was like I had that skill. And I think everyone has that skill, but it's just like, you know, like it's hard to be put in a situation where you're put to the test, like pushing your limits that much, you know? So it was cool to know like, oh, that's, you know, I can adapt. I can try to like make things work, even though I'm like kind of thrown into a situation where I'm like not that used to and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's great.
I'm
So,
sounding like I'm in a job interview or something, bragging about that. But I was just like, I was proud of myself.
that's a great skill. All right,
I'm a
noted.
perfectionist, dude.
All right. So, how many years you spent in Texas total? 1, 2?
Just one.
1 year in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. So, your first time coming to America, you're in Texas for a year, and then you're in Utah for like 10 now, whatever.
Yeah.
How would you compare and contrast Texas and Utah? Strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, so I'd say Texas. I think the food's really good. You know, like Tex-Mex and like Mexican food down there is awesome. The weather's like a little bit warmer, so if you like that, which I do enjoy, like I like that we have all seasons here, but you know, warm weather is kind of better overall.
What part of Texas were you in?
Lubbock.
Oh, I've definitely heard of that.
Yeah.
What's the big cities by those? Dallas?
Yeah, so it's like I think the closest one might be Austin.
Austin.
Yeah, I think it's about 5 hours from Austin. It's where, you know, Texas Tech is there.
Yes,
In fact,
that's what I've
I've
heard.
went there. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's like the biggest reference I have.
Yeah, Texas Tech.
Yeah. So that's where my brother-in-law was going to school at the time. So that's why I was there.
You're staying with them. Cool.
Yeah, I was living with him and my sister. So yeah, so
Food wise, sorry.
yeah, food-wise was good. Weather-wise was good. Utah, I think it's just, I don't know. It's hard. I do like the aspect of Texas, how it's like I said, a little bit more diverse. There's like, kind of people from all around. There's a lot of like Spanish. I like my mission was like Spanish speaking, even though it wasn't out there for too long because of COVID and stuff. But I love speaking Spanish, so the opportunity to do that with like native Mexicans and stuff is like sick.
Yeah.
So that was cool as well. Utah though, I don't know. I love like like I'm a member, and I think the member culture is cool too. Just having like there's so many people that you meet, and they're like genuinely some of the best people ever.
Right on.
And it's that aspect is cool. Is like here, like I think the majority of people are generally trying to be good people, when in other places it's kind of like it can be more dangerous and be a little more sketchy or this or that. But I think the church culture here is cool.
So the people of Utah is what you like about Utah, huh? Very appropriate for the people of Utah. Huge win. Let's go.
Dubs in the chat.
He's not being paid for that. That's a genuine reaction. That's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna check my bank account later, bro. Expecting to have a motor drop.
So I know you've got a YouTube channel, and you're really big into film, and you work in video production stuff.
Yeah.
Have you always been big into that? Where did your love for that kind of come? And tell us about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, totally. So honestly, I've always loved movies, but it was never really a passion of mine, like until more recently. So the last few years, kind of one of the reasons that I've been like kind of taking longer with school is like I was working full time and stuff, and I was doing like property management, so helping with like run apartment complexes and stuff like that. And with that, it's very seasonal, so there's a lot of like downtime.
Nice.
Like once you like released up, etc. Like there's there isn't a ton to do. So I was like, shoot, I'll watch a movie here or there, and I just started to get into like kind of more like mostly like Kubrick movies, like Stanley Kubrick's, like more classic ones that I've heard like, oh yeah, this one's all timer, amazing. So I'm like, cool, I'll check it out, and I just kind of fell in love with it. Like I don't know, I generally just started seeing it for like the art form that it is, rather than before I saw it more as like entertainment.
Okay.
So so I just just started watching some classic movies and stuff, and like I think 2001 The Space Odyssey was kind of the one that, if you've heard of that one, that kind of like ticked with me, that I just thought it was like, it's very unique, and most people, well, a lot of people might think it's kind of boring, but it's just very artistic and very unique and very like thoughtful in a lot of ways. So that kind of just like clicked in me, where I'm like, dang, I'm so interested in this. I want to like look further into it, and study it and stuff. So I just started like watching movies like so often, like one a day ish, and kind of like educating myself that way.
Yeah.
And kind of just fell in love with it. So yeah, and then I started my YouTube channel just about a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago, and kind of the goal of it is just to talk about like film history and movies, and making it like accessible to people as well, because there's so many like amazing older movies, like from like the 50s or 60s, or like even a little older, that there is content about it out there, but it's like not as fun or dynamic or like accessible, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like the people talking about it are like like not that entertaining.
Yeah.
Like they don't understand like YouTube necessarily, what I mean?
Yes.
Like they're,
I'm like, okay.
yeah, like, so I'm like, dang, what if I just do it and I just try to incorporate like my sense of humor and like my pacing style for videos and stuff like that into that, so that maybe a younger audience, like maybe people my age around there, would be more interested in like older movies and stuff like that our parents or grandparents were like raving about back in the day. So
that's very cool, and that's very niche, because that's a good point. Is the older movies are usually appreciated by older people.
Yeah.
Who are, generally speaking, like you said, boring to listen to, and they don't know the modern technology to communicate that stuff as an art form. So that's a great place for you to come in as a younger person who knows modern technology and YouTube, and being able to appreciate older film. When we say older film, what like timelines are we talking about here?
So like basically, like I don't know, it's just like the start of like cinema history, I guess. Like I
don't even know what time that is. That the 60s?
So like,
is that like,
well, like the like you can like around the turn of the century. Like I think the first movie ever. I don't know how nerdy I should get here.
Please.
Okay, but I think like the first movie ever was like 1870. So 1870. But it was like the most basic thing ever was like if you've seen the movie Nope, they show it. It's like a multiple pictures of a guy riding a horse, and then them like played, in sequence at like a quick speed. It looks like the horse is running.
Just like the frames per
Which
second.
is
But it's like
exactly.
5 frames per second.
Exactly, which is like how cameras still are today. Like, like I think the standard today is like 24 frames per second. It's kind of like what looks normal to people.
Yeah.
But I think he did maybe like 4 or 5 pictures that were like different, stages of the running and like placed together. That was technically a first movie.
Okay.
And then like around the 1900s, they started filming like boring stuff like trains. I think like one of the first movie looking movies that was like a train just getting to the station, people coming in and coming out, and that's like people think that's revolutionary.
Yeah, well, so when you talk about film history, you mean like the whole history. I thought you were just talking about appreciating movies from the 80s, which I can't even do, bro.
No, that's
Respectfully,
right. That's valid.
I don't know.
That's valid.
I don't know, because I don't appreciate it as an art form.
Yeah.
I'm all about the entertainment. That's my
And I get that.
limited knowledge of movies where I'm at.
Yeah, and I don't think that's limited knowledge at all. I think that's just like, I think there's like 2 types of movies. There's like, like the artsy fartsy stuff, which I think is like extremely valuable, because if you think about it, like if you like just take a second to like think of movies as a genuine art form, like painting or writing or like music and stuff like that, like when it comes down to a movie is like the combination of every single art form, like music, there's a score, like painting, like the framing, a lot of it is like, it's like how painters construct a painting, like dialogue, that's writing. There's so many things like it just combines every single art form basically into one. And to me, that's super interesting, but I absolutely get like entertainment factor. I'm not one of those people. I'm like, oh, I go to a Marvel movie and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I'm like, you're annoying if you do that. Don't do that.
That's so good. That's a good point, though.
You can do both.
I used to work with this girl, and she would, first of all, it's not a movie, it's a film, right? It's like, oh yeah, my favorite films are some weird thing, like the closet of this weird dude. It's like, oh, it's got a lot of different beautiful things in it. And I'm like, okay, I get if you appreciate that. Yeah. But then she's like, yeah, I hate when people say their favorite movie is like Interstellar. Like, shut up, that's a stupid movie. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, Interstellar's dope, dude.
Crazy.
Like, I love it.
Interstellar, I feel like everyone loves it, right? Like, that's a great movie.
That's what I'm saying. No, but yeah, because she was, a superior...
She's better than us.
Superior film person, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You can appreciate and know a ton of stuff about film, but also appreciate the entertainment factor.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think there's totally room for both. And that's what's fun, too. It's like, dude, sometimes you just want to turn off your brain and watch, like, like Dumb and Dumber or something like that. Something silly that's, like, a good time. Or sometimes you're like, dang, I heard, like... Have you heard of The Brutalist?
I have heard of that.
Yeah, so it's like one of the movies that like got nominated for a ton of Oscars last year, right? So I watched it the other day, and it's like a 3.5 movie, like period piece, and it's like it is not the same watch. You're not doing the same activity, because if you're going in to watch something like that, you're trying to like take in like the art form and like analyze it, kind of like. For like, oh dang, like how did they do this specific shot, or like this technique, or like, oh, that's interesting writing, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you're analyzing it a little bit more as an art form, when it's like, but you can also watch a comedy and you're like, this is so much fun, I'm laughing so much, having fun with my friends. So it's like there's room for both.
It's just the best medium of entertainment ever.
I think so.
It's just got everything.
Yeah, no, I think it's a combination of like all that's good in the world. So.
I love that, dude. So I can appreciate that a little bit, actually, because have you seen the movie Killers of the Flower Moon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like when that came out, I don't know, I didn't really enjoy it as like an entertainment piece, but I loved it as like thinking about art. I'm like, it's a movie I would never be like, I don't know, not normally watch. Yeah. My friend was telling me all about it, and I watched it. It was very interesting. Mm-hmm. Like as an art, like just that genre of movie I'd never seen. It was really interesting. And then like foreign films as well. I've seen a couple, and I think they're very interesting. There's one I watched, you might know it. It's this like, it's all in like, I think Korean, and I had like the English subtitles on.
Okay.
But it's this family who's like super poor, and they
Parasite.
Maybe they one by one
Wait,
go they one by one like go and work and live in this rich people's house.
Parasite. Yeah.
That one's so dope.
That's a good one, dude.
And it's like it's a little bit entertaining, but also like I can really appreciate like I don't know, like the messages of it and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a big thing too, dude. It's just like the message of movies and stuff is I don't know, if I'm in the right mind frame to get anything out of it, it's way cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like my favorite aspect of movies is like the empathy factor of it.
Yes, that.
I think, yeah, especially being able, like you said, like a Korean movie or like, any foreign movie, like you see a completely different perspective than you ever would. And, you get to feel for those people as well. Even if it's like a fiction, like it's not a real story, it's just fiction. But it's like every fiction has a little bit of truth. And, you get to look into, especially if it's like, I don't know, there's some like, writer directors or some people just make a movie that's already been written. But, some movies are like very personal pieces that are like, like somebody showing you, like being vulnerable and showing like a piece of themselves, like into the world basically. So it's like, I don't know, you get to, I feel like the empathy factors and like the best thing about movies, you just, you get to feel for people so much more.
Yeah.
But
and that's good too, because a lot of times when I watch a movie, in the back of my mind I'm like, it's just a movie. But when I really like buy into it and stuff, like the best movie is a movie that can like make you feel something, and I'm like, dang, like this is a powerful, like it really is an art form, like the director and the acting, everybody involved in every little aspect, like that it can like make me have this emotion and make me like consider perspectives and stuff. Yeah. I'm trying to think of, I know that's happened before, and there's been movies that I'm just like, dang, dude, this is just powerful. But I love that.
Yeah, no, I think it's amazing. And the thing too is like there's so much out there. So yeah, that's what's cool too. It's like, you can always, like, I've tried to watch as many movies as I could basically the last few years. And, there's still going to be a movie where you're like, dude, have you heard of this one? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
How about, have you heard of a Minecraft movie?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, dude, it just came out. It is like, as an art form, you would really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
It's so many layers, dude. It's deep, man.
Dude, Jack Black, right?
Yeah. Have you heard of him?
Marlon Brando over time, I think.
Yeah. He's in a movie or two.
No, he's good. Hey, School of Rock is an amazing movie through and through. So.
School of Rock is great.
I'm a stan of him, dude.
I have this new tradition where, like, every year, and like, cause I have this one friend whose birthday, we just started doing it. Every year we go to like some stupid movie in the movie theater. So this year was Minecraft movie. That's for last year we went like the day or two after the Mario movie came out. Dude, you see some Mario movie, just like that type of, like, heck yeah, I don't know, just dumb movies.
No, those are sick, dude. Those are fun. Did you guys kill a chicken at the Minecraft?
No, but dude, case that happened in Provo. Did you know that?
I heard it was Utah. I didn't know it was Provo.
Yes, no, the one where the guy brought a live chicken or whatever. That was at the Provo Mall. Crazy. Can you believe that, dude?
Wait, was he alive through the movie? They didn't kill him there.
No. So he the security, when they got kicked out, they abandoned the chicken. So
what the heck?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's pretty messed up, and they're getting a lot of heat online, as they should. There was some video I saw, like the behind the scenes, how they went and they bought the chicken from somebody. But yeah, they brought a live chicken to the theaters, and then they just like left it with the security guard. And so I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if they found a home for it. I don't know if Chick-fil-A picked it up. But all I know is that they abandoned the chicken.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
No, I know, it's so crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up. I wouldn't leave the chicken. If you're gonna make the prank, at least, I don't know, take it back and.
I know.
Shoot, I don't know. Release it in the wild. I don't know. I don't think they can survive in the wild, but give them a chance.
You got it on video. Like, now just go return the chicken. But
oh, God.
I know, that happened in Utah, dude. What would you say your top, let's do top 3 movies of all time?
I would say I have like a very solid 2. The third one's kind of up in the air, but number 1, if we're considering like a movie I would watch anytime, Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, have you heard of that one?
Very familiar.
Yeah, so it's with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, if you know that.
It's newer, right?
It's like 97, so it's been a while.
Not newer, but okay, I know what it is. On my TV, it's like a smart TV, and it'll just pop up random suggestions. I've seen it on there.
There you go.
I think I have it on my list, but I haven't added it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good one. I recommend it to anybody. I think anybody that watches it usually likes it. It's really interesting too, like the background of the movie. I think it's cool because Matt Damon and Ben Affleck actually wrote the movie.
Dope.
And so like they wrote it, got it sold, starred in it, and then like they won an Oscar for it, and it's an amazing movie. So it's like it's an interesting story. It was like their big breakthrough too, and now they're like insanely famous. So it's kind of like the beginning of their career, which is kind of cool.
It's way cool.
And it's an amazing story. Just like obviously I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's about like a young man that kind of struggles with like some past trauma, and he's like kind of not living up to his potential because he kind of self-sabotages. Okay. So not that I relate to this, that I'm a genius or anything. I'm really not, but it's a good movie.
Cool.
So that one, number one. Number two is a pretentious one. It's called The Seventh Seal. It's a Swedish movie. It's pretty old. You might have seen like a still of it where like this guy's playing chess with Death, and Death is like a bald guy with like a black suit and stuff.
Oh, I think I might have seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, it's like it's an old movie. It's in Swedish, whatever. It's pretentious, but it is a really good movie. It's about a guy that comes back from the Crusades, and he's kind of questioning like the terrible acts that he did in war for his faith.
So it's set in like the 15 or 1600s or whatever.
Something like that, yeah. So it's like a medieval piece.
Medieval, yeah.
Cool. And yeah, he's just like coming to grips with like he's like basically the whole movie's like he's about to die, like death comes to get him, and he's like, oh, what if we play a game of chess? If I win, I get to live, and if he loses, death will take him. But the whole movie is him like playing chess with it, and then trying to figure out like going about his life and seeing like kind of the atrocities that some people do for their religion, but at the same time he's still hopeful that like God is real and God is with him. So it's really interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I loved it. Like I said, could be a tough watch. It's like subtitles and stuff, but it is interesting, and it's short, just an hour 20, so not bad.
Okay.
And then third one, right now I'll go with Oppenheimer. I really liked it.
Yeah, I watched that. That's
right. Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. Again, my movie knowledge is very limited, but dude, anything Christopher Nolan puts out, I need to buy it hard, bro.
Yeah,
love that.
Yeah, and I think it's such an interesting movie about like the biggest, event in human history. Basically, it's like
I learned so much, and it was so entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It is kind of crazy when you think about it. It's like humanity trying to play God. That situation. It's like, and they actually kind of like made a little breakthrough.
And I had no idea about like all like the legal stuff that went on behind that. And it was very interesting to hear all about that.
And I really like the main actor, Cillian Murphy. Have you seen Peaky Blinders by any chance?
No, but I know he's the main guy on that.
Yeah, that's a really good show. That's like a gangster British thing.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about TV shows, but no, I have seen what other movie that I see with him. It's a movie. I think it's called In Time. It's like you probably seen it. It's where they have like time built into their watch or their arm, and when it gets to 0, you die.
Okay.
It's like a currency. So you go to work, and they pay you in minutes to be alive. And if you want to buy an ice cream cone, it costs you a couple.
Is Justin Timberlake?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I haven't seen it, but I know about it.
Cillian Murphy's like the cop in that. Trying to catch him because it's actually sick, dude. So it happens at the beginning of the movie where his mom like dies, because she like runs out of time barely. He like tries to save her and give her some minutes anyway. But then this super duper duper rich guy with like 1 billion minutes or whatever, it's like he can like actually live forever.
Wow.
He's like, I've lived forever and I don't really care to anymore. Here you go, random poor kid, and gives him all his money.
Wow.
And then he just goes on all these adventures and anyway, but
it's quite super interesting.
It's a cool concept. Yeah, I like the cool concepts. There's another Christopher Nolan movie I loved. I just forgot the name of it, but it came out like early 2000s. And the movie is a guy that has short-term memory loss.
Memento.
Memento, yes. Dude, it's so dope.
That's a great one, dude.
So
and how it's told like backwards.
Yes. That's what made me appreciate it so much. It's like, and then, just the whole time you're going, you're just catching up. Because it will like play a clip, and then it will take you back to the beginning of that, and it'll play up to that last clip. It'll play up to the last, and then you piece it together, and you're just like, wow. Everything I thought I knew, I did not know, and it was crazy.
Yeah. No, totally. That's a really good movie. I actually like that one a lot. It just messes with my brain so hard.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the movies where like I don't know if I have ADHD. I have like suspicions. But I'm like that one you cannot look away because it's like so backwards and forwards. And
that's all Christopher Nolan's movies, dude. It takes multiple watches. True. Like Tenet, dude, takes multiple watches.
Dude, Tenet, I feel like barely makes sense anyway. Like that movie, I've seen it twice, I think, and I'm like, I like this, but I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times, and one time I looked up online all the fan theories, so I could look out for it during the movie, and it was very interesting. After I had looked stuff up about it, I was like, oh, now I can look out for this and that.
Yeah, did you hear the one the woman's? Can we spoil stuff? No,
Yeah. No, the woman's son is Max, right?
Yeah, Robert Pattinson's character.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I've heard that one, and as I watched the whole thing, I'm like, oh yeah, definitely, dude.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially the very ending of the movie when he's like, oh, I guess I'll see you at the beginning. He's like, oh, you haven't figured it out now? Like, this is the end for me, but for you. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Now that's
It's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
yeah. Oh,
That's
so
a good one, dude.
crazy.
And Robert Pattinson, he's one of my favorite actors. So
He's a beast.
it's a good one. Did you watch the new Batman?
Batman, yeah.
Oh, dude, that one's
He's
so
great.
fire.
Yeah.
That could be like contender for my third spot.
Really?
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
That one, huh?
I watched that one like 5 or 6 times in theater, dude.
It's great.
Love that one.
I don't know. I mean, maybe just the entertainment factor away from the art form factor.
Yeah.
Dark Knight for me, but
That's fair. No, and I get pushback a lot for this take, but I love the Dark Knight. I think the Batman is a little better.
okay.
But that's just me, and I'm very, and this is one of those opinions where I'm like, I'm okay if you think I'm an idiot. It's just how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not like, I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because I completely get other people like liking the Dark Knight better, especially because like Heath Ledger, the Joker was so sick. Like,
I just love this, like the what's it called, the dilemmas, the social dilemmas or whatever, moral dilemmas that are played out.
the like ship one, it's so, like such a good concept. It's like so interesting.
So this is gonna ask you is, so movies as an art form, it's start to finish, 1, 2, 3 hours, right, of the whole story played out.
Yeah.
What do you think about TV shows, and do you enjoy them? Because I don't know, it's a whole different form of art. It's not told out in just an hour, 2 or 3. It's over a long period of time.
Yeah, definitely. No, I really like TV shows. I think they're great. My thing is though, and this happens to movies as well, is like I said, I have the ADHD allegations. I haven't beat them yet. I don't know for a fact, but but I'm like, I just can't commit to shows that like go on for too long. I think this is like trauma from like The Walking Dead growing up, and I love that show so much.
How many seasons is that?
I think it has like 11 seasons, the show itself, and then now it has like 3 or 4 spin-offs. So it's like, it's just like branching out into like a universe rather than a show. So, and that's my thing. Like, I watched a lot of shows as a kid and that I really enjoyed, and I thought they were so amazing. But I feel like the problem with shows is that like, once it works out, once like a show gets picked up or they get like greenlit for a second season or a third season or this or that or the other thing, they just have to start making stuff up.
Yes, exactly. I think a huge drop in quality in exchange for money. It's like, all right, how can we have the longevity of the show increase to keep us all getting money, rather than prioritizing, the quality of the content.
Absolutely, yeah. You look at shows like I don't know, like Law and Order, SBU, or something like that. Like all the shows, they have like 20 seasons, 20 episodes per season, and it's like, do you even have stuff to talk about anymore? I feel like you're just recycling things at this point. And that happens with so many shows where it's just like, it's the same season, they add like a different filter. It's like the villain, instead of having a baseball bat, now he has an axe. But it's the same story, So that's the only thing that I don't love about shows, is that like, there are some shows that are amazing. Like, I love like Breaking Bad, like Sons of Anarchy was a really good one I liked. Peaky Blinders. There's a ton of good shows out there, and I enjoy them. I don't watch them as much anymore.
It's great. Yeah.
Because of like, I'm always scared that it's like, oh, like this is a really good first season, but then what if the show just becomes, like they realize they can make money with this, so they're just going to make 30 more seasons, and I'm just going to give up on the story eventually. Yeah. So movies is like, through 2-hour, 3-hour commitment, maybe a sequel 2 years from now. So it's like, whatever they did, it was a very purposeful, project. Yeah. So I appreciate that aspect.
Valid, dude. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I appreciate you, really helping me get inside your mind of a film expert, dude. It's crazy.
I'm no expert. I'm just an enthusiast nerd. And, my friends are tired of me talking about it, so this is good. I get to just and
you need to get it out officially. So now when your friends ask you, just say, hey, just play the episode beat.
Dude, just listen back, and pretend that I was funnier than I was. I don't know.
Exactly. So tell me, in closing, what is one thing you wish people knew about you? One thing people know about Nick.
That's a really good question. I think that, I don't know, I love people, and I'm a person that like, I have like some anxiety, like social anxiety and stuff, so I can struggle with that sometimes. But at my core, I genuinely am very interested in people and love getting to know them. That's why, like, that's kind of where my film thing comes from, because I think it's so interesting to, like, you know, hear stories that people make up in their minds and they actually put it to image. So it's like, to me, that's so mind blowing, and being inside of somebody's mind like that is so cool. And yeah, and I think everyone, like, I don't know, everyone has different perspectives and different backgrounds, and I love getting to know that. And, you know, and I, even though I can be shy or I can be a little awkward sometimes, I'm like, I'm genuinely interested in people. So, you know, if you ever meet me in real life, like, talk to me. If I'm awkward, we'll try to push past it. And, but yeah, just know that, you know, I think you're an interesting person just because you're alive. So yeah.
Dude, you're the man, Nick.
Dude, you're the man.
It's great getting to meet you. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for being a person of Utah. You're the man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This was awesome.
Awesome, dude. Take it easy.
You too.